everybody, Cheaply Chic, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm Lynette, and I'm so glad you're here. Today I'm going to do something I've never done on my channel before, and I'm going to share my everyday planner. All of my Plan With Me videos are always done in my memory keeping planner, and the reason being is I feel like it's a lot more interesting and pretty. It's also taken me a while to find a planner that fits me and makes me happy. So that's also why you haven't seen a video before. So today I'm sharing my A5 Carpe Diem planner in coral. I've decided that I love the A5 size. I've tried the personal size in the past, and that's just been too small for me. If I were someone who had a lot of appointments to keep track of, I would keep a personal size in my purse. I've done that before when we've had a lot of doctor appointments to keep track of, but now this is what I'm loving. It's big enough for me to work in and small enough for me to take with me. So today I'm showing you the little front section I created and use in my planner to keep track of personal things. This is tried and true for me, and I love this for keeping track of my goals and reminders, but because of the change of the seasons, I decided that it needs a facelift, and I'm going to make some new tab dividers, and I thought I would take you along. What I've divided here and will continue to use are the sections eating, spirit, exercise, my temple, and entertainment. Eating well is obvious. That's my eating habits and weekly meal plans. Spirit is a section where I like to keep track of what I've been reading and studying, my thoughts on everything. Exercise is a place to keep track of my workouts, or desire to start is probably more accurate, but I won't get into that right now. The My Temple section is for me to remember that self-care is important and ways for me to plan that into my day or week. I tend to put everyone else on the planet first more than I should, and this section helps make myself a priority too. I titled it My Temple as a reminder that my body isn't just my own, since I believe that the Holy Spirit lives inside me. Maybe I would at least remember to take care of myself for God. Kind of a guilt trip into it actually, but hey, whatever works. And entertainment is again remembering and planning fun things for the hubby and I or my family to do together, because that too is something that gets put off for work and other obligations. So this is the We Are Memory Keepers tab punch board. I'm not sure when We Are Memory Keepers came out with this, but it's a recent discovery for me. I tend to shy away from punch boards and punches because I have a silhouette and I should really be using that more than I do. But when I found a channel recently where she was sharing things that she created with this and I binged on a few of her videos, I had to have one, you guys. I justify it with the fact that it will serve many purposes, of course. One of the reasons being I knew I could create my own dividers for my planner with it, so I'm going to get into that with a brief description on how to use this. I know sometimes these punch boards can be a little confusing, and by the way, I forgot the name of the channel with the fun tutorials, but I will definitely leave a link in the description box down below. Make sure you go and check her out. You'll be so happy you did. If you enjoy tutorials for your planner, she has so many, and she's just, I noticed her channel's been around a long time. She has a ton of videos, and you'll be happy that you did. All right, so I'm going to be using paper from a Hot Buy paper pad at Michael's called Autumn Dream, specifically this one piece that I've been hoarding. I think it's so beautiful. And also some paper from DCWV. It's a stack I picked up at Tuesday Morning a couple years ago called Spiced Cider, and I am in love with the photo images that this stack has. First, I decided I'm going to use this piece of paper with the photo of the basket of apples as sort of a cover page. This page isn't going to have a divider. I just wanted it at the front of my planner because it's adorable. So because this is a classic A5 size and I don't need a tab, I'm cutting it at 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. Now cutting the dividers, I know I need to compensate for the extra paper I need to create my tabs at the top. I measured and found that with adding the tabs at the top of my dividers, I needed to cut the height of my paper at 9 1/16, so slightly larger than 9 inches. And again, the width of them is still 5 3/4. Now moving on to using the punch board, let's see if I can try to explain this and make any sense at all. So I'm going to be creating a tab on the left side, a tab in the center, and a tab on the right side of my dividers. Pretty straightforward and basic, right? The tabs that will be on the left side and the right are going to be created in the same way with the punch board, and the center tab has a different process that we'll get into in a minute. So starting with divider number 1, the one that's going to be on top, I'm making my tab on the left side of the paper. The punch board comes with this little plastic stopper that we use to hold the paper in the proper position, and we'll be placing this in the 2 holes on the far left side close to the bottom of the board. I'll explain more on these holes a bit later. Then we just push down on that square punch and we have the left side of our tab. Now to create the right side of our tab, we're going to pull that stopper out and flip over our paper to punch the opposite side. So we're going to flip our paper upside down. You will notice at the right bottom side of the punch board there are 3 squiggly lines marked out to help you pick a size for your tabs, small, medium, and large. Because my dividers are on the smaller side, I'm going to make medium tabs. Now I just need to line up my first punch with that line that indicates medium on the board and then punch the right side of my tab. I failed to show you what the paper looks like with the final punched tab, but basically now we just need to get rid of the excess paper that's remaining at the top of our divider. We are memory keepers built in a handy little trimmer that will take care of that for us. We just have to insert the excess paper into the trimmer and use the little round cutter that came with the board by inserting it into the plastic guide and then just running the blade over the paper we wish to remove. You have to eyeball your paper to make sure that you aren't going to cut into your tab, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. Alright, now we're going to make our second divider and place a tab in the center. Now we don't want to use our stopper because we're going to measure where we want the left side of our tab to be punched. We are memory keepers added a guide to the bottom left side of the punch board we can use to get the best possible cut. Remember that we cut the width of our paper at 5 3/4. I'm going to be pointing out with my X-Acto knife the little notches above the measurement guide to show you that they even have a way to measure out at 1/4 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch, with a 1/2 inch falling in between these 2 notches. I'm going to line up the left edge of my paper at the 5 3/4 mark and punch my paper. Now to create the right side of my tab, I again have to flip over my paper and line up the already punched line with the medium line marked on the punch board, and then punch. This will notch out the area I want for my tab, and all that's left is placing the divider in the trimmer and removing the excess paper from the divider. And now for our third divider, we're going to be creating our tab on the right side of our paper. We're going to be doing this the exact same way we created our first tab, only we have to do it upside down basically. We will add our stopper again to the leftmost side of our stopper holes at the bottom of the punch board, flip over our divider so it's upside down, and punch. This will create the rightmost side of our tab instead of the left like we've done for all dividers up to this point. Now all we have to do is remove the stopper, flip over our paper so it's right side up again, line that punch up with the medium squiggly line at the right side of our board, and punch. Again, using the trimmer at the top of the punch board to remove our excess paper. So that's my little explanation of how to use this punch board. Now I'm going to create 2 more dividers to use in my planner. Just so you know what those other 2 holes are for concerning the stopper at the bottom of the punch board, We Are Memory Keepers wanted to give you a corner rounder option if you don't want to leave your corners sharp on your project. So if I were to add the stopper to the holes on the right, it would allow the paper to cut a rounded corner without a full punch of the tab shape, helpful for someone who might not have a corner rounder. Now that I have all my dividers punched, I decided I want to add some of my tea stain paper to the back of my dividers for extra writing space. I make a mistake here and cut my paper prior to adhering to the dividers. I thought I would save a little time for the sake of this video, and it only ended up causing problems because of the dried nature of this paper. So don't do what I do. Normally, I would just glue the project to the paper and then cut the paper to fit with my scissors. I tried to save you all time by not doing that, but it would have worked out better for me if I would have. Alright, so now I'm just going to slightly adhere my paper to the dividers because I want to run it through in my sewing machine for a more junk journal appearance. I don't want glue plugging up my machine, so this just helps hold it in place. Now I'm just going to use my machine to add some fun stitches to the dividers, and then I'm going to use my previous papers to help me punch holes in them and add them to my planner. It wouldn't be me if I didn't add a touch of this gold paint pen to the edges of my dividers. For those of you who haven't seen me use this paint pen before, it can be picked up in the paint aisle of any craft store and even the craft section at Walmart. And that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and easy to understand concerning the use of the tab punch board. I'm going to be sharing more videos concerning this planner in the very near future, so keep an eye on your subscription feed for that. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to click that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!